All right, welcome everybody. Glad to see you all here. Boy, we're really full tonight. I think, did we set up more tables after the more tables? It looks like. Okay, Pat, don't stand close to this microphone now. It's really turned up. Pat is going to tell us how many people are here and the guests.
Hi everyone. Has everyone signed in? Please, tell me.
Yes. Yes. Oh, look. Straggler back there.
Who? Okay. Hey, I didn't know you were here. No, I told someone you weren't here. Okay, I'll get you. Okay. We have, counting the one that didn't sign in, we have 54 members here tonight. We have what would have been 9 guests, however 3 of them have just joined. So actually we have 57 minutes. Anybody else interested in joining? You didn't go every time. Okay, let's go. Now we're going to greet our guests.
Greeting the guests.
Jocelyn Worcester. Would you stand up, please? Laura Lamson. And an old friend of ours, Molly Waddell. Molly has done the program. And Patsy Ferguson, Diane Shirley's sister. Our 3 new members are Carolyn Galluccio. Is that
Very good.
Yeah, I've had some experience with them. Robin Krim.
Betty.
Peg Hayden. Another guest is Tonya Rhodes. And Sharon Walker. Welcome, everyone.
Judy, do you have a treasurer's report for us?
Well, it'll be brief. We don't have any inflows or outflows this month, but we probably have right at 23,000 in the bank right now. So that's good. Can you repeat that?
We have about 23,000 in the bank right now. It's the start of the year, so that's great. We don't have to pinch too many pennies when we look for programs, which is nice. Okay, the meetings went out to you all, and I was given a couple of corrections. So the first thing I'm going to do is say we're going to call for a motion to approve the minutes. Will somebody make the motion? Lisa Trippy.
I'll second it.
Who is that? Cynthia Weir. Okay, the 2 corrections we had were fat fingers and my problems with names. Sharon Kalinowski is looking for an assistant to help her at the 2026 show that will take over doing the recruiting at the 2027 show, not the 2017. That's the fat fingers. And the other one was the people who went around and asked for the vendors at AQS to donate to the Guild. I had Tatiana Tipton and Sandy Alfaya, and I was told it was Tatiana and Sue Martin. So I got the S in the first name right. So those are the 2 corrections we have to it. So all in favor of the minutes as corrected? Oh, does anybody have a question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
On sentence up, I believe it read for tomorrow, or did I misread? Is it tomorrow?
That's the third Tuesday.
Okay.
Right, in the minutes we were talking about the one last month, but it's the 3rd Tuesday.
Okay, I'm always thinking, okay, it's the Tuesday after the Monday. The following week. Yeah.
Sometimes the second Monday is a different week than the 3rd Tuesday.
Thank you.
Okay, so, sorry. All in favor of approving the minutes? Aye. All right, minutes are approved. Okay. Old business. Old business I'm tired of talking about. For the quilt show, we need to step up in order for us to keep the ability to work the quilt show and organize the quilt show. We have 4 people who are willing to be on the committee for the raffle quilt. We just need someone who will work with them or on their own if they want to, come up with a pattern of what we'll make, and they will help you get it done. And they have all worked on quilts for the show before, so they know the routine. So someone who has not really volunteered for that before, or a newer member, don't have to be brand new because it's kind of scary when you're brand new.
Well, I am, but I have EQ8 if that would help do a design.
Well, I have it too. But I'm not volunteering to run it because I have other stuff to do that week.
Are you volunteering?
Would you like to be the one that would kind of coordinate the other 4 and get the quilt going?
Well, I do work full-time and I live in DeLand, so I don't know if that would have any kind of issues or whatever, but I mean, I'd be willing to meet with some people and maybe try and do design on EQ8 and
We
help
would
it
work
with
with
that.
you. We can always go to see Ocean's Thrill.
Huh?
I think the committee would probably work with you, but I can't speak for the whole committee.
Well, I have 2 people saying yes. One other is not here. Sue Martin raised her hand last month that she'd run it, and I told her she was too darn busy, but she could be on the committee. Where are you, Sue? There you are. I'll let you help, but you're too busy. We don't want to burn you out. So there's,
I think if we have a leader, we might get more people even that would help work with.
right. We, in the past, also, since you are new, we have not always designed our own quilt. We have used quilts from other quilt designers. All we have to do is ask their permission to make a raffle quilt for the AQS show, and most of them are like, yeah. We just give them credit on the back of the quilt that it was their design.
In my head, I'm already thinking it would be cool to make a race car, but
Well, okay. Name. 'Cause
Carolyn.
What?
Carolyn DeLuccio.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to get your information from Pat. Oh, God. Usually this is so quiet that we have to have it right in our mouth, and we're not used to this. I'm going to get your information from Pat, and I will send you an email, and all the other 4 ladies that have said they work, and they have done it before, so they can give you hints on things also. Thank you very much. It's a very important part of our fundraising. For those of you that are new and are visiting, our guild's responsibility as far as Quilt Week Daytona Beach that AQS holds is we recruit all the volunteers. And in return for that, they let us have a raffle quilt, and they let us run the package check and keep the income from that also. And they give us a donation of $3,000 for doing all that work. So it's a very important part of our fundraising every year. So I thank you, because I've been kind of worried because it's getting late in the year. Okay, the other thing, and then is somebody that will help Sharon Kalinowski with the recruiting. Yes, Sharon? Oh, there she is. Sharon? Yeah. Sharon has done it for 2 years. And the thing is, the person that helps her is the one who's going to take it over in 27. We want you to know that, because I did it for 5, 6 years, too many, and Sharon for 2.
Yeah, what I'm looking for, I have a lot of friends in the Florida area, and I'd really like to be able to host them during a quilt show, and if I'm working the whole time, I can't do that. So what I'm really looking for, I will still keep the spreadsheet and, be responsible for sending out the emails. And I would like to share that with somebody so they can take it over. But also, I do visit the quilt guilds in the area, and I could use some help doing that. So basically, this year it's just kind of like learning the ropes, visiting some of the quilt guilds when you share the load, and maybe give me 1 or 2 days off during the quilt show where I can say I'm not really here, I'm here to see the quilt show. So that's what the job entails this year, and then of course the following year they would take over, and I would hopefully still be here to assist them. So
For the new members, do you wanna just tell them what we do, like what the volunteering that we do at the
Okay,
show?
so there's like 6 spots that we fill. We set up the quilts, we take down the quilts. And during the quilt show, we have people who are hostesses, that mean go around and protect the quilt. We have people that work package check, volunteer check-in, quilt, opportunity quilt sales. We have the fidget quilt, and I think I'm missing one.
Classes.
Lectures.
Okay, we host it at lectures, we help
The
at lectures.
lectures, yeah, we help with the lectures.
So this is getting volunteers together.
It's keeping track of all the volunteers. I use an Excel spreadsheet. One page in the spreadsheet details all the positions and where people are, and then there's a corresponding page that lists all the volunteers and where they're volunteering, so it kind of does a cross-check. So that's what it involves, is keeping that. It gets a little intense as quilt show gets close, because I get a little nutsy because I don't have enough volunteers. But otherwise.
I'll make sure she calls on you, Joe.
Just tell them how many volunteers we had last year.
Say
How
again?
many volunteers did you have?
300, over 300.
So that's the big piece of it. There's so
Yeah.
many people to keep up with. I just
So,
wanted
you know,
to
one of
make
the
sure
things
that
we tried to tell the membership is,
Right.
you know, if you can give, certainly if everybody gave, one shift, that's not gonna cover it. So we have to depend on the generosity of other quilt guilds in helping us out. So the other part is, soliciting volunteers there, or your husband, or your neighbor.
For hanging and taking
Anyone
down
that's
quilts,
standing.
husbands are great.
Yeah. So.
Tall husbands, yes.
Yeah. If you're interested, please give me a call or talk to me after the meeting.
The shifts are usually just 2 hours, right?
Yeah, but we're just trying to find somebody to help her, so we're not, okay.
So they know what.
Yeah, I think I counted it up and it was like 300 shifts.
It's close to 300 shifts, yes, that we have to fill.
When is the quilt show?
Third week of February.
It's
okay.
Towards the end of February every year. It's between,
Thank you.
it's between the NASCAR, Daytona 500 and Bike Week. Sorry, I don't have the dates right in my head, but if you go to the AQS website, they have the dates there.
18th or 21st.
Okay, we work then from the 16th through the 21st.
It's on the website already.
Yeah, it's
So
up
if you're
there.
interested or if you have questions, that's fine. If 2 of you want to, if you find 2 people that want to do it, I'd happily take 2 people, so. You'll help them? Oh, the sisters are going to help.
Thank you.
I love you guys.
And as long as,
Thank you.
and as long as I'm able to keep being there overseeing it all, having done it, as I told her, I'm always there to help you out if you have a problem or need to ask a question. Oh, I can take a big sigh. That helps. The 2 sisters are going to write down, and then I'm going to figure the names out later. Okay. Coral and Nanette. Oh, God, sorry. For those of you that don't know me, I was never good with names, and chemotherapy kind of, the chemo brain is a real thing, and the names did not come back. So I know the face, but the name doesn't come out of my brain. Yes, you should.
Everybody, I think, that came last month, was it only a month ago? To, what was her name? Sally Terry, to the workshop.
Grab the lanyard from her. It's a microphone for the video. Just hold it, you're fine.
Okay. Sally Terry's workshop, everybody was wonderful. She was a great teacher that night and during the next day. And tonight's exciting because it's our own members. And Julie Swinson tagged 5 people. I don't even remember who everybody's names are. But they'll be up here. If you haven't been here for a 5x5, it's 5 members. And then for about 10 minutes, they're going to do a trunk show and a little history, each one of them. So that's always pretty cool. And then next month, we've got Sharon, well, before she leaves town for summer vacations or anything, to talk about wool and embroidery. No. Okay, I give up. Applique, okay. Did you want to talk about that a little bit? Okay, and then the week after that is the month. June, July, is Jean Roth doing Stack and Whack in June for the June meeting. And then, and July is our ice cream social and Christmas in July. And if anyone has any great ideas for that, let us know.
So next month I'm going to give a program on applique. It started out, I volunteered to teach a little lesson in back basting, and they said, well, why don't you just talk about applique? So I'll talk about applique, all the different kinds of applique that are out there, and there are quite a number of them. And then at the end of my talk, I will show you how to do back basting. And anybody who would like to kind of play along, there is a list in the newsletter about what kind of supplies you'll need. Basically, it's just thread and needle and some fabric. So come prepared next month to learn a new skill if you haven't ever done applique. I think it's one of the easiest ways to do applique, but you'll have to be the judge of that.
You know, we do need, since we are having such great success with volunteers, we do need a volunteer for Christmas in July. Is there anyone in our eager crowd that would like to volunteer? You would develop the program, we would help you, and you know, whether it would be a craft or you know, a new way of sewing, it would be up to you to bring a new idea. Any takers? We'll work on it. We'll work on it. If you consider it, and feel free to call Coral and myself. Thank you.
August, I'm really excited because Linda Kirsten's going to bring some of her dolls, and do you want to come up or show your cool little doll today? But she'll be doing a program on dolls she's made, dolls she's collected, historic, untouchable, touchable, the whole routine, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, thanks so much. We really appreciate your support for all the programs. Thank you.
Oops, oh, didn't turn it off. Block of the month, Mindy.
Okay, before we do the drawing, we have a lot of new people here today who maybe don't know about our Block of the Month program. So what we do each month, I will present a new block, show you how to make it. You go home and hopefully everyone makes a lot of blocks. Bring them back. When you put them in the box, you get a raffle ticket for every block that you put in. And then we have the drawing. And if your number is drawn, you get all of those blocks. And Tanya, would you bring me the quilt that's in my bag? Forgot about that. But you get all of the blocks that are in here, and then you can go home and make a quilt. So I meant to bring this last month because this is the block that you brought back, and I did not win the blocks. Actually, that was our very, very first time, but I loved it. It was a real stash buster. So if you win this month's blocks, this is what your quilt will look like. So it's a really nice scrappy quilt. So we have 40 blocks today. This will make a really nice big quilt. Okay, get your tickets out. Last month I drew my own name ticket twice. Okay, oh, it's broken, but the last three numbers are 871. Okay. And what is your name? Sue Mitchell. Oh, I brought a bunch of blocks from you last month that you gave to Sue, I think. And who is our secretary? I want to thank you so much for recording the name and how many blocks, because that way I can keep my notes. I never remember who won. Okay, so now next month's block. It's always in the minutes of the notes. So this, it's called Stack It Up, and this is what the block looks like. And when it's put together, the quilt actually will look like it has white round snowballs and colorful round snowballs. Actually, oh, can you hold the back page, the back of it up? You probably can't see this because it's so tiny, but that's like what the finished quilt would look like. So it's a very easy quilt to make. You're starting with 2-inch, and I'm really glad we're up here on the stage because you can actually see these things this time. It's 2-inch strips instead of 2.5. Sorry about that, but you can cut your jelly rolls down. 2-inch strips, and you're using a light or white here and a scrappy here. And it tells you how to cut them. You're sewing your strips together like this, and then you sew the strips together and you end up with 4 of your blocks. And then you sew your blocks together with all of your white touching. Oops, just lean it backwards a little bit there. And then square it up and use your starch. Your starch is your friend. When you're doing this, you're going to get a nice crisp block. And it's called Stack It Up, so hopefully everyone will bring in a lot of blocks next month. Any questions? Okay.
UFO challenge?
Do you send out the instructions for those?
I send them to Pat, and Pat sends them out.
It'll be in the newsletter.
Okay, Sue and Aurora are getting all their stuff together. Me neither. Yes, part of the chemo brain. We had quite a few people turn in their pictures or their UFOs completed to Sue, and she's agreed to do it again next quarter. Thank God. Thank you. And so we have 3 winners, first, second, and third prize. And we've got a bag of Floriani thread, Easter pattern from Margaret Lobianco, and a Moda panel, and it's called, what is it called? Old Glory Multi-Panel by Moda. And this is different. That's, we have a door prize too. So.
Okay. And these are all from our vendors that donated to Tatiana and ourselves, and we still have some more back there. Okay, so I'm gonna draw.
Let me draw, because I'm not in there. Because she's got 8 in there. What if she wins?
But they were simple things like this.
777. Julie Swenson won. She turned in 7 or 8. 7, so that's awesome. I know. Oh, she took the thread. The next one is 780.
That's her.
You can only win once, sorry. But see, if you put more than one UFO, if you finish them, you have more chances of winning.
7800.
No, 78.
802. And that is Joe Quiglia. The motor panel. What do you think? Would Joe like this or the Easter? What do you think she would like? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to see her? She's not here. Are you going to see Joe?
No, she said that she said you were waiting.
Oh, okay. I'll get it to her. One more. Come on, Sue. Come on, Sue. 776.
Dang, girl.
776.
She probably has 776 too.
Julie, you gotta pick again.
She's her lucky day. 3 in a row.
You better go play the lotto tonight.
That's Joe, so that won't work. 766. Wasn't that fun? Okay, and then, okay, door prize. Do you want to ask Pat for a number on that? I don't want to pick the number. Well, you know who's who on that list.
Somebody pick a number between 1 and
54.
1 and 54. Who, let's see, who?
We just said 54.
How about Edie, since you're leaving town? 1 to 54, pick a number. 33.
Sandy Bukowski.
Oh, this is a cute little beach vibes, relax, unwind, and mermaid off duty.
That's all about me.
That is
So I printed out some blank second quarter UFO challenge sheets if anybody wants one. I printed them out. I know some of you didn't get the email, and the attachments are always a challenge sometimes. So I have blank ones back there if you need one.
Or you can add to your first quarter, mark it off second quarter and add to it. So there you go.
And I have those sheets with me.
You have them with you?
Yes.
We need some.
Oh, hands that want some. Okay.
I have like 90.
I think somebody has to pay me to finish those things because I don't ever get any done. I think I've had the same 3 on there since last year.
Every time you finish one, well, first you fill it.
Is there any new business that anybody needs to bring up to the meeting? Probably not. That's great. Okay, we're ready to start a program then.
Yeah. This is for a quarter, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we hit. Oh. Yeah, thank you for everybody for being here, and especially welcome to our newcomers here. We really appreciate you showing up, and we hope you join our guild. You can tell already we have a lot of fun, and we learn a lot as well. I think I'm going to pick on Sharon. Unless someone else would like to come up first. All right, we're going to have Sharon come up. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself. And Sharon, are you going to need some help as well?
At the end, I'll show my quilt.
All right.
It's a microphone. Oh, okay.
Just give us 1 second and we'll have this. We have so much talent here. This is, I think maybe we should do this twice a year. What do you think? Really?
I would just need help at the end to show the quote. Okay, so most of you know me, I'm Sharon Kalinowski, and in the interest of time, I'm just going to read what I wrote, and then I'll end by showing my quilts and telling you a little bit about them. So I grew up in Lowell, Massachusetts, so textiles are in my bones. I even graduated from Lowell Technological Institute, which is now UMass Lowell, which was originally called the Lowell Textile School. And until the year I graduated, it offered a degree in textile manufacturing. I would often go into the bowels of the school and see the looms still operational, and sometimes I even made a special trip just to see them. I've been married for 54 years and have 2 grown children. I sewed for myself and my family, but it wasn't until the mid-1990s that I started quilting. I worked as a software engineer, and most oftentimes my reward for 6 plus months of work was a blip on the screen or some other message that indicated success. I needed more. I wanted to create something tangible, something I could put my hands on, look at, and say, I did that. A coworker took me under her wing and I was hooked. That was 25 to 30 years ago. I consider myself a dabbler. I like to try new techniques and learn new skills. I feel it important at my age to challenge my brain, and I always like to have one challenging project along with something easy and some handwork in progress. My former quilt group was called the Procrastinating Quilters, and I lived into that name as I easily have 10 plus projects waiting to be completed. I know, Aurora, it should be on the list of UFOs. I mostly enjoy piecing and applique, and I have to admit I do not, I repeat, do not like the quilting part, so Julie and Mindy get a lot of my money. The things that I've dabbled in, I do paper piecing. I made a Jenny Beyer quilt, which is not here, because it's with my Christmas stuff. And I didn't want to have my husband up on a ladder going through the Christmas stuff. So I'll bring that one later on in the year, probably at Christmas time when we take them out. And I've done a Judy Niemeyer, sort of. Wool applique. I've done some modern quilting. That one is at my daughter's house, so you will not see that one. I've done traditional 1940s. Some people call that reproduction. I've always called it reproduction quilts, but I've also done Civil War quilts, which is also called reproduction, but that's reproduction from the Civil War, which was a much earlier time frame. None of that is here either. Probably wondering, what the heck is she going to show me? I have a Bargello that I will show you. I have embroidered a full-size quilt of red flowers, red work. That's absolutely gorgeous. Again, it's at my daughter's house in Oregon. You will not see that. I've done a traditional Hawaiian applique. It was all handwork. And that took me about 2 years to complete. It's about 60 by 60. And you will not see that one either, because that one is hanging in my foyer at about 12 feet high, and we have to hire a guy and pay him $100 to change the quilt whenever we change it. So if you want to see that one, you'll have to come to my house.
Party.
Everyone except Joe is invited. I only have about 10 of the over 100 quilts that I've made. I prefer that they provide comfort and warmth for people, some of whom I do not even know. I have a large family, and they mostly live in cold climates, so they are put to good use. I also have been making quilts for Quilts of Valor for over 10 years, so most of my quilts are in other people's homes. Tonight I've brought my first quilt,
and my most recent quilt, as well as some of my dabblings. I did not bring any of my applique, as I'll be presenting the program next month, and I'll show you some of them then. I hope you enjoy seeing them. Before I quit, about me, I had a really wonderful thing happen to me, and I hope those of you that quilt have such an experience. It's got to be 6 to 10 years ago, I was part of a Bible study group, and one of the ladies really liked butterflies, and I saw this panel, it just spoke to me, and I said, oh, I'll make it for her. Her name was Joanne. And haven't seen her in 5 years because we've been up here for 5 years, and she sent me a text message with a picture, and she said to me, my mother just passed away this weekend, and I'm sitting here with this quilt. Thank you so much for making it for me. So that is why we quilt. And I thought I'd share that story with you because, it just touched my heart. It's like, well, it's being put to good use. So now I'll show you my quilts. This one, if I could have 2 people, I'll talk, and if I could get 2 people to... Yeah, this one is my first quilt. I thought I was done when I got the top done, and then that coworker I told you about, she said, "Oh no, now you gotta make the sandwich." And so for about 2 years, it sat in my closet because I didn't like that sandwich part. But that was my first quilt. That's a double Irish. And I did quilt this one myself. One of the last times I did that. There we go. This one is my mom, who just recently, a year ago, my mom passed away, and so my sister gave me the opportunity to take back any of the quilts that I wanted to. This was one that I made for my mom, and they called her Angel Lady because she just loved the angels. So I did take this one back. And it's all hand applique. It's not machine applique. I mean, machine embroidery. It's hand embroidery. So that was really fun to make. And this one's pretty old. I don't know. All my quilts do have labels on them. The first one I made, I just wrote it in the binding. I learned. And this one was used quite a bit, so you can see it's not nice and new, but it's been loved, so it's special. This is one of those 1940s reproduction quilts. It actually was a kit, and I really loved it. I don't usually work with kits because I like it to look original. But yeah, you can see it has a nice yellow backing. I just love the colors. It looks so bright, so I bought it and I made it. So that's one of the very few that I do like that. This one's queen size, though. Thank you, guys. So this is the Bargello that I made. You won't ever find this anywhere. It was a pattern that a woman in Portland, Oregon, where I was living at the time. It's a unique Bargello. The hardest thing about it's queen. Yeah, and the interesting thing about this one was I almost had heart failure picking out the fabrics. There's 25 fabrics in there, 12 colors. You pick 2 colorways, blue and purple were mine. You pick 12 graduating each color, and then you pick your background fabric. When I went shopping for this, I actually had to take a break and go have lunch. Because the store, you know how stores are either organized by color or by manufacturer? This one was organized by manufacturer, so I had to go through the entire store trying to find something that would work. But that one I think is 1990. What's the date on that, Joe? Can you see on the label?
2003.
2003. Okay. So that wasn't how big is it? And this is the last. This one is not finished. This one's going to my niece before the next meeting. This is my most recent quilt. And this one's queen size as well. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's you don't know that. And the story that goes with this one was my niece called me and she said, Aunt Sharon, my quilt that you made me is 20 years old. And she said, I said, does that mean you need another one? And she said, yeah. And she said, can you make me one that's queen size? So we agreed on color, we agreed on fabrics, we agreed on the pattern. And then she called me up and said, I'm thinking of getting a king size bed. Can you make it bigger? I was like, no, I can't make it bigger. No. And then she said, well, I'm moving and my color scheme is different. Is it going to go? And I said, damn straight it's going to go. That's what you're getting. So I hope she likes it. If she doesn't like it, I'm going to tell her that if it really doesn't go, I'd like it back. Because it's a lot of work and a lot of money to make it. Yeah, and I'll make another one. But my husband likes it, so he would be okay keeping it. And then the last one I'm going to show you is my Judy Niemeyer. And here it is. Yeah, I took the class. I got all the way to the point where I had to decide whether it was going to be square or round, and I couldn't decide, so I put it back in here, and that was probably 6 years ago. So again, I've got something for the UFO if I choose to do it. So thank you very much.
Yeah. I'll go next. Sharon.
Good job. Thank you, Sharon. Great job.
Hey, okay. I'm this bag. Okay. Yep. Yes. This is a microphone, in case anybody's wondering. It goes with a video camera.
And the cute guy behind the camera is my husband, Peter. So, we'll get to it.
Okay. I'll cue you.
So, my name is Cindy Sanders. I've been in the Guild for just under 3 years. We moved from Minnesota about 3.5 years ago. Okay? So, I've been sewing since I was a kid. I remember making skirt and junior Girl Scouts. I remember my mother sewing at the kitchen table, making us all little matching outfits, or the same outfit, different colors. I sewed all the way through high school and college. I made formals along the way. I made the dress for my maid of honor in our wedding. I've even made a wedding dress for a friend that wanted a simple Renaissance wedding, but a white wedding gown. Okay? So I've done a lot in sewing in general. I started looking for other things to do, and I ended up taking a class in the early 1990s because I was looking for something different to sew. Okay? So now, this is the first one that I made, which was hanging on the wall. And you're looking at it going, it looks sort of like it might be falling apart. Because it is. Because they forgot to tell me how much of a seam allowance I really needed to use when you're using flannel. So it's in the to be worked on pile. I'm going to go back through and just sew over all the edges and tack them down, because on the back, it's fleece, okay? So it's a flannel fleece, okay? So there's no batting in it. So technically it's a quilt, but it's not a sandwich. So I kept doing various patterns that I found along the way. Where we were in Minnesota, we didn't have a lot of quilt stores. I have a fair number of Walmart and Joann's and Hobby Lobby and various other places with fabric that would offer freebie patterns. I have a lot of them, okay? But we started picking up a couple more quilt stores that just folded up. That's the next one. Okay, they're in order. Okay. So I was doing various patterns because, you know, just read a pattern, so it didn't bother me. But I actually got hooked up with a couple of the quilt stores, which were not a 5-minute drive from the house. But I took several classes, including some monthly. We're going to do one block. You buy all the pattern and you buy all the fabric up front, and then you come for one meeting a month, and you know, you put it together. So this is one of them that I did. I refer to this as the Christmas quilt. Okay. But by getting hooked into some of the quilt shops, you can fold that one up. I'm ready for the next one. Sorry. I found the Row by Row program. Okay. And, you know, in the early 2010s, it wasn't as widespread. But I ended up being one of the first ones to turn in at one of the quilt shops. 6 weeks after the start of it, it was like, you haven't had a turn-in? Okay. But my family knew that I was visiting quilt shops and picking them up, so they kept going to their local quilt shop in California, North Carolina, and sending me packages of the blocks. So I ended up with like a dozen. Now turn it over. I had too many for one. So like Sharon, the quilting part, I'll leave to those that truly long arm, Mindy and Julie and such. It's not for me, okay? So what I did was I did very light quilting, think stitch in the ditch, and then put them together back to back. Hey, it was done by their rules, and turned it in. Okay?
What'd you win?
At that time, it was a stack of fat quarters, like 20 or 30 of them or something, sort of thing, that I used on other later projects. And don't worry if they don't get back into the same place. It's okay, as long as they get home. So I've done a lot of sewing for other people and other groups that I've been associated with over the years. Girl Scouts, church, this thing called Drum and Bugle Corps. Think marching band on steroids, okay? Quilts of Valor, when it was a little sign on the quilt shop door saying, turn in your QOVs here. Okay, I can make you a quilt top. And I also do cross stitch and crochet. But I often cross between my sewing passion and those other organizations. I've made quilts for high school seniors that have been in my Girl Scout troops that are graduating. I made a quilt for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. I've even made a t-shirt quilt, which is all the Girl Scout cookie t-shirts from when I was the town chair for Girl Scout cookies. Complete with sashing in the Girl Scout little GS fabric that you probably can't see from the back of the room. Except for it's not quite finished. There's a couple of blank squares in there because that particular year didn't have a design on the arm, on the sleeve. But when they started merging Girl Scout councils, they were like, well, who has stuff from our council for our final get-together? And I said, well, I have this t-shirt quilt in progress. And they're like, ooh, can you display it? So I had to sort of put it together enough so that I could hang it. And it has a pocket on it, even though it's not finished. So I could hang it. So they could all, hey, I remember that year of cookies. Okay. So, okay, good. Peter, you're next. Okay. So sometimes the sewing projects are not quilts. Okay. The drum corps that I was talking about in Minnesota, I've made them color guard flags. Now, this is all sewn seams, okay? So all you ladies that don't like curves, this is curves on steroids.
This is the small one.
Yes, this is the small one. I made one that is about 3 times as long for them. And this is one. It's a set of 15 of them. Okay? And it's a silk. It's what's called China silk. Okay? My son, our grown son, he turns 34 in July. He now is the core director for the group. Okay? And a number of years ago, they realized that, the little kids want something too. So I started making these things that we call mini flags out of all the scraps from the big flags in all their weird shapes. And I'm still making them, okay? This year I'll probably make them about 300 of them, okay? We refer to it as the Southern Sweatshop now, since we moved down here, okay? Thank you, dear. All of this sewing, okay, and I have an engineering-based computer science degree. I write software professionally, which means I'm not afraid of new techniques. I've pretty much tried everything. I'm not a big fan of handwork. Sorry, the applique just doesn't thrill me. Okay. I've done fusible applique. Yeah, it doesn't thrill me either. Okay. Wool makes me itch, so sorry, that's right out. Okay. Piecing, I love it. Okay. Paper piecing, sure. I took a Judy Niemeyer class. Yeah. Prismatic star, yeah, I have one of those at home. Okay. But what I really found I liked paper piecing was Jacqueline de Jour. Okay. The opportunity quilt last year, Beautiful Day, that's one of Jacqueline's patterns. Okay. This is the first Jacqueline pattern I did. This is called Circle of Life. Peter wanted to bring out the Lion King song. Okay, Circle of Life, okay. But I really liked the way her patterns are written. Okay. So, okay. You may fold it up. I have another one that is, we'll call it 2/3 done. The difficult part is done. I had to find the backing fabric again once we moved. I still haven't found it again. We moved a lot of stuff down. I did have a 10-foot frame with a short arm, a 9-inch throat. Okay, yeah, you can grimace a little more, Mindy. Okay, which meant I was doing 4.5-inch chunks of long arming. I left it in Minnesota with a friend, okay? So I tend to quilt by credit card, okay? But I do make a lot of tops for charity, as Joe and Sue Martin and the other QOV ladies will attest to. I do a lot of foster sew, too, because I like making the tops. So.
Thank you, Cindy.
And now I'm gonna roll away.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Thanks so much.
You're fine.
Thank you so much, Cindy. And Peter, we know you're part of the team. Cindy is wearing one of her creations too.
I'm hoping that I can get through this without coughing too much, because the more I talk, the more I cough, so bear with me. When I was growing up, my mom made all of our clothes, and if she didn't make it, she altered it, so I was always around sewing. It was fun to go to the store and pick out the patterns and stuff. My first sewing was in home ec in high school. Made a cute little Holly Hobby dress. Came home, it was the 70s, double knits was a thing. Thank you. We'll see how this goes. You can't because it's in my head. I cut my pants out, sewed the front to the front, the back to the back, and said I hate this, and I didn't touch it again for 20 years. 1990 something, I started sewing again. And then started making, that might help, I don't know. I started sewing. I'd make a new outfit every weekend and wear it to work on Monday. After a while, I kind of got tired of that. And my first quilt, I went out. I bought this cool red, white, and blue fabric. Everything was printed. Cut them out, put them together. Threw up when I looked at it because it was so dizzy you couldn't see anything. Put that away. And then my first big quilt that I did was from Joann's. It was Quilt Block of the Month from 1998. It's a little worn and torn and battered. That was my first big quilt. I didn't quite give up the garment. As you can tell by my log cabin skirt, with the log cabin leftovers in the vest, and a little bit of Seminole piecing over here. When I made it, it was smaller, it fit better. But I was smaller, it fit better. Tying into our talk from last week, I have this little quilt. It's gone on color. I found this cool fabric at Joann's, wanted to make this cool little quilt, and it called for a red sashing. So when you look at this, all you see is the red sashing because the red's way too strong. So learn that you gotta think about values as much as you think about colors. I also learned that you have to be careful with what you use to mark your quilt when you're sewing it, because the markings are still on this quilt and they'll probably never ever go away. Binding was always and still is kind of a sore point for me. When I first started quilting, I thought you always had to do bias binding. And I hated trying to cut it out and make it and all that stuff. So when I finally discovered that you could do straight grain binding, it was really exciting. I got a lot more quilts done. I've gotten pretty good at it. Most of the time it comes out perfect going all the way around. And usually, at least 3 of my 4 quarters. We're not quite to that one yet. That's okay. People would ask me, I'd show them my quilts and they'd be like, that's so pretty. And I'm like, just follow the directions. It's good. Sometimes I did good with the directions, sometimes not so much. This one I made from a picture. In my old guild, my girlfriend, one of my friends came in, and we were all going to make the same quilt and put it in the state fair. I'm the only one who finished mine.
And then you try that, it really helps you focus. Just tuck it beside you, let the baby.
I'm tired. It's drainage from my nose that's causing the problem. This is my most recent quilt. I followed the directions on this one. I had that fabric forever. And was going to make something fancy, and I saw this pattern and decided that'll work better than whatever I was going to do. And at least it's done now. And that's all I've got. So,
I'm going back home to Tennessee. I'm going to Clarksville. Which Clarksville is only about an hour and a half to 2 hours from Paducah. And I had the best Thank you so much, Cindy. And we wish you well in your new home. Hopefully, is there a quilt guild up there?
There's the Tennessee Valley Quilters Association. They have a boatload of quilts. And I'm only going to be an hour from my old guild.
Nice, nice. We wish you well. And who would like to be next?
For 6 years.
Thanks for sharing with us, Diane. Okay, so I wasn't quite. I didn't have actually written anything about myself except for the fact to say that I've been married about 38 years and I've been in this country for 38 years. So guess why I'm here? So unlike many of you that I speak to every day in this group guild, I never really grew up around sewing. We just did our own thing. We never had the time, we never had the money, we never had the capacity to have a sewing machine set up. So I kind of started a lot different to a lot of folks. I did make a skirt or two. We did a little bit of home economics, learning how to sew and stuff like that. But we never really, it wasn't really our thing. So really moving forward, when I got the sewing bug was around about 2018. When I got my first brand new machine. Before that, it was always secondhand machines and old machines and stuff like that. So it was very magical for me to have this new machine that I could play on. But the thing is that once you get a machine and you start playing on it, I realized two things. The 4x4 hoop that I had on the sewing and embroidery machine combo I had, too small. And then the second thing I realized was, if I set up my embroidery machine the right way, I can sew and embroider at the same time. So obviously I had to buy a bigger embroidery machine, obviously. So that's just started a downhill slide into machines everywhere, and my husband rolling his eyes when I talk about a machine. But that's okay. So I've machine embroidered bags for my daughter's wedding, a lot of other stuff for a lot of different folks, and then I started to make a quilt. The first thing I did was a really bad quilt that I was supposed to do for Project Linus, and I was so sorry about it that I never gave it away. But I love it. It was the very first thing I ever made, and it sits in my office now. So, but it's really the very first, when you start sharing what you've made, you start to realize the magic of sewing. And that's that people like to share. And what I found doing this is that even my close circle of friends outside of here, we all sew and share and craft together. And that's the magic. And that's how we want to do it. So, finishing up, I guess I don't have as long a history as everybody else. But yeah, I've made, oh, I'm sorry. No, you're fine, sweetie. I made a couple of pillows like that. I made this quilt just because I kind of like the colors of the fabric.
Oh, wow.
I really like it. And then I... And that's my standard place of quilting, going zoop, 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 zoop. So
And then this I made for my husband. It was one of the second or third quilts I made. Thank you, sir. And when I first gave this to him, he wouldn't use it. And I'd rip into it. I said, listen, mate, I didn't make this quilt for you, just put it on the back of the chair. You've got to use it.
There you go.
So I do that. So my next step after this is learning how to do ruler work and possibly trying to improve it. But there you go.
Thanks so much, Diane. Was that a panel originally?
That was a panel, it was an, it's from Tom, it's called an O. Henry. But I saw pictures of it, and I thought, oh, I know what this is. So I just did it.
Right. You figured it out. Nice. Thank you so much. I think we have a fifth presenter. Maybe not. Julie, was there a fifth person? Oh, okay. We're not going to forget you.
Yes.
Betty would like us to forget her, but we're not going to do that.
Well, you didn't say my name, so I really didn't have to do that at all.
You're more honest than that. You know.
Hey, why not? All right. I'm not very good at this.
Yeah, you are. Anyway,
You're among friends.
Yeah, I know. Some ladies where I worked at, I stocked their floors, so she came in and said, how would you like to make a quilt? Go figure. So she brought me this book to make a Christmas quilt, okay? So, when I went to the lady's house, a bunch of us got together and started sewing. Well, they were teaching me how to cut and everything. Well, when I went to sew, I did not know that you had to sew a 1/4 inch. So when I made the candy cane, I sewed it 5/8 inch seam, and it turned out about that big. So I went home, tore it apart, and redid it. So that's what I did. I did some of the pieces for the that goes with this. I didn't finish them, but I got them. So the candy cane and these pieces and this was part of the Christmas quilt. The reindeer. And learned how to applique. Go figure. So, and then I found a pattern where, this goes this way, where you make envelopes to put your Christmas cards in.
Oh, that's cute.
So I made that. I don't know where I got the pattern from, but I made that. And then I thought, well, I'll try a twister.
You want to teach us how to make that in Christmas in July?
What?
The envelopes.
Oh.
The envelope. And the twister.
Good idea.
There you go.
So I thought I'd try twister, so I did this one.
You go, Carolyn.
And this was, me and a couple of ladies got together. It's called a cactus quilt, but I didn't do the whole pattern. The material that I had in it, I didn't like a couple of the colors. So I just did this. It's not finished. I make things, I do the tops, but I never finish them. I make them, I fold them, and put them in a drawer. Anyway, that's my quilting thing. I started in 2015 and just kind of learned and grew, took a bunch of classes. So it's been interesting, learned a lot from you ladies. So.
Did you bring your feathered star?
No.
Your caddy thing, tell that story about, isn't it strong?
Oh, yeah, on my 5-drawer caddy. I took a class at Maitland Sewing Studio, and Tatiana, I found out, brought in some skunk materials. And I used it to make the cover for my 5-drawer caddy to carry, and it has all my stuff that I need in it for when I go sewing. Everything's right there. So, but yeah. Just still learning, still doing things, so, but I enjoy it.
Betty, did you bring us any dolls?
Huh?
Did you bring us any dolls?
No.
Because you make some really cute dolls.
Sharon. Tell about the dolls?
Yes.
I started a dog club with Linda, and I'm learning. I don't do well with hands. I did do one where I did do the hands. I'm not good at sculpturing the face. I kind of colored them. They turn out okay. I did an Amy Rags doll, you know, that's, what, 18 inches tall or something like that. I've made a couple of them.
You're good at it.
I'm learning. Like I said, they're not as good as what Linda or Cheryl does, or some of the other ladies, but I'm learning. It's fun. It's fun. So, learning beading, learning embroidery, too much stuff, and I have a walking room like this in my sewing room. I have material on this side, crochet on this side. So I crochet, knit, make doll dresses, fine cotton yarn for Barbie dresses. So that's fun. Anyway, that's enough about me.
Thank you so much, Betty. And I need to take this. Well, I'm keeping this just for a second for a reason, because you gave me a great idea, and I'd like to have a show of hands. Coral and I need, a volunteer for July, for the Christmas in July. But somebody mentioned, why don't we do a project like this, where something that we can all do together? And I mean, I know I have so much Christmas fabric. I'm sure everybody else does, and we could all share in that fabric. So let me see a show of hands if you would be interested in that. If you could bring our machine, or maybe we could just cut it out and place it, and no?
50 people?
Too many of us? Okay.
December sit and sew.
December sit and sew. There you go.
November sit and sew.
How about for a sit and sew? Is anybody interested in that? Raise your hand. Okay. All right. Maybe that'll be our opportunity. Well, thank you so much to our presenters. Like I said in the beginning, we have so much talent here. Why don't you raise your hand if you'd like to have us do another 5x5, maybe towards the end of the year. If you're interested in that. And if you want to talk to Coral and I after the meeting, if you'd like to volunteer. Thank you again.
I'm asking your indulgence. This is not on the agenda, but I've been thinking about this for a while, and I thought you might kind of get a kick out of it. This is a tribute to Sandy Mikowski. Where are you, Sandy? Okay, she doesn't know this is coming. But we've had programs where we've had experienced people, such as Sandy, give us hints, right? And I have learned two very important things from Sandy. One was, if you are cutting very long strips, put a heavy weight on your ruler. I don't know why I didn't think of that myself, but anyway, if anybody has never done that, try it. It really does help. The other thing that Sandy did one time was tell us that when she goes to the supermarket, she puts a clip on a handbag and clips it to her cart. And I can't begin to tell you the number of times people have come to me and said, ma'am, you need to watch your bag, and I'm saying, try it. But the ultimate story involves the turtle mob. I've told this story to a few people when I know I sent an email out about it, but I've got to tell you the end of the story. Sandy came in to a meeting and showed us the turtle mop. You put it on the floor, it mops up water. You keep it near your refrigerator, and if the ice maker gets out of control, you mop it up. It just so happens that 2 of my daughters were at that meeting. I have 3 daughters. They have many talents. They do not sew. And so the 2 of them looked at me and said, Mom, we want turtle quilts, turtle mops. Okay. So I made 6 turtle mops, 2 per child, right? And honestly thought that would be the end of it. So my youngest daughter, who lives in Pennsylvania, has a sister-in-law who is really into crafts, does all kinds of beautiful counter cross stitch, all kinds of stuff. It sounds quirky, but she actually knitted a sweater for a tree. I know. She was trying to save this tree, and she actually literally put it in a sweater. Anyway, she spotted this turtle mop, or the one that my daughter had, and asked me to send the pattern. So I did. I told her how to find a pattern, and she just went to town with turtle mops. It is endless. She makes them, she sells them, and not for herself, but she belongs to a church where they have a monthly rummage sale. Every month she sells turtle mops. She gave them, in return for a donation, gave them to my daughters, who sent them to their friends. They have been sent all over the country. And people have come back and said, send more turtle mops. Sandy, you created a monster.
Oh, I know. So, Pat, I had to stop making them as gifts. So if I went somewhere for, somebody has you over for dinner or whatever, and I don't cook, so we don't do that. So I would bring a turtle mop, and they'd be like, what is that? And then I'd show them, and then there would be requests to make, can you make 5, 10 more? And I was like, so now I don't bring them anymore. It's online, so just Google turtle mop online. So basically, I use a 10-inch circle. So use the 10-inch squares and make a big circle, and then you make the head and the feet and the little tail. And I use a towel on one side and fun fabric on the top. Yeah, Google it. It's fun. It's easy, and they're great gifts. But then you have to make them forever. And I've made them in the shapes of sharks now. And if I just have half of a circle, but it's not quite, then I'll use some kind of, I have an aquarium on my floor. So it's aquarium material, and I didn't have to put feet or head or anything else on it. It's just a circle. So, thank you, Pat. Surprise.
Okay, so we're going to start show and tell. If the person is showing and telling would like to stand here with this, and maybe we can have 2 people on the stage that can help hold things up. But you have to hold 2 microphones now. Okay, you don't have to hold 2 microphones. I watch a show from Ireland of these 2 young women that bought an old falling down farmhouse. And one of them is very mechanically inclined and does all the work. She hates having to clip a microphone on. She found out if you clip it on your cap, because she wears baseball caps, works perfectly well, and your hands are free, and it's not hitting your tools and stuff. These things are wonderful. Are we ready? You're going to go first, Molly? Oh, you're going No problem.
Okay, you know me, I don't get a lot done. So my friend's first grandchild and her daughter and her son-in-law are like opera singers. They sing in Broadway plays and musical groups and everything else, and they get to travel all over the world. And they have a 2-year-old daughter named Aurora that they take everywhere. And I found this cute, they have books that are, and so I cut up the books to make that. And she's only 2. She's already been to New York and London and Reykjavik and Rome and Paris. And so that was fun. And the black and white are musical notes. And if you switch it around, they're from New York, so I wanted to make it a little heavier. I love that material. It's polar fleece. And I just got an embroidery machine, so I made a label. I'm so excited to have that. Anyways, that's it. But that was fun to make.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Very, very nice.
Hi, I'm Jan, and I made this for my daughter-in-law, who's going to be 30 in June. And Mindy quilted it for me. Blue and gold. This is just a top. I finished it, so I said I'll bring it because I never know when it's going to be any good. It's a nice, easy one. It's Halloween, the black and the gold.
This is a t-shirt quilt that I made for my daughter. This is all her high school, college, fun memories that she wanted to keep. Alan Jackson, a goofy lover. We're from Wisconsin, so she went to Monona Grove High School. The bottom, there is one that is the PMS girls. It's Pissy, Moni, and Smash. That was her bowling team.
Beautiful.
Yeah, just finished that up for her.
Hi everyone, my name is Tanya, and I'm very, very new to sewing and quilting and those types of things. I think I made a pair of shorts when I was in like the 8th grade. After that, that's all I did. So this is my actual first quilt I've ever made. Thank you. It's the Funky Four Patch, and of course the infamous Mindy quilted it for me. And I also have the infamous Stand and Stow bag. So, thank you.
So my friend came from San Diego, and we signed up for the shoe class at AQS. And they're made with 2 flip-flops, and I'll pass them around. And I used soft and stable, not just batting, so it's a little stiffer. You quilt the fabric first, and you use a lot of hot glue, and you sew the bias tape around, and I've got the grommet, the tulle and the grommets I bought better than what they had in the class. They actually went through all of them and we didn't even get to finish it, but that was a lot of fun.
Do you wear them?
I'm going to, but I wanted to show them first.
Our friend who's missing tonight, Sophie, gave me a bag of all these little pieces, but only had parts pattern, and said, I can't do this. And so I did that for her. And she knows I'm turning it in tonight. Very proud. And this quilt is all of the block of the months from last year. Oh, wow. And if we turn it over, there was one extra block, and so I put the label out.
So I was busy trying to clean up UFOs over the weekend, a couple weekends ago. So both of these are wall hangings that have been sitting around in my quilting room forever, and I just needed to quilt them, but finally took the time to do that. So glad to have them cleaned up. And then I tried something new. I decided that I wanted to try a table runner on my embroidery machine. So I'd never tried this before. Yeah, and Designs by Juju, where you buy the pattern and you just do the entire thing in panels on your embroidery machine and then sew it all together. I think it turned out really cool.
Sue Mitchell's back joining us again. She's been convalescing with a broken ankle, and I'm happy to have her with me. And I'm happy to have Lynn, who does all the quilting. So last year I won Block of the Month for Grandma's Donut. So this is Grandma's Donut. You might see some of your fabric in there. And put that together. A friend of mine gave me the fabric for the back. And this will be a donation. And thank you, Lynn, for quilting. Ooh, look at that, yay, yay. First off, I call it being Sophied. Those of you who know Sophie, know Sophie. We stopped over there tonight just to drop something off for her, and we went out with 3 bags of stuff. So please help us Sophie the stuff home, okay? Anyway, I have a quilt top that I have finished. It just needs the binding added, the label added. If someone can do that, that would be fabulous. Very small, it's like 40 by 40 or something like that. So can I get a volunteer for someone to say that? Cindy? Okay. Cindy's closest, Cindy gets it. That's it. The other thing I have is I have 3 different versions of the stand and stow. I mentioned to my daughter that I was going to make the stand and stow. Oh, I'll take 2 or 3 if you'd like to do that. Oh, no problem, Jen. But they are so much fun to make. So.
And if people would keep the, the text stuff.
The what you call it?
Peltex.
Yeah, if people keep
Peltex,
their
yeah.
scraps of Peltex, I appreciate it.
Oh, you want the scraps?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Hey, I can do that, yeah.
Yeah.
I love
They
these.
make little
They're
ornaments.
so much fun. I'm done.
Okay, I'm new here. This is my 2nd meeting, and in your newsletter, someone talked about Seminole quilts, and I made one. This is my Seminole quilt. That was a class from Kristen Laurel by Zoom. My 2nd meeting here. But Seminole is the Native Americans, the Seminoles, and that's their traditional patterns. And I came to the class last month, and here is my little quilt. I pay attention.
Was that your suggestion, is to do a pillow with it? It worked.
Hi, my name is Nanette, and this first quilt, one of my favorite fabric designers, Jay Wecker Frisch. She works in more of an antique type of quilting. Julie did the quilting, thank you, Julie. So this is actually the back of it, but it's my favorite part. And I think it'll be great like a door hanger or on a bed. I like to put them just on the bed. And this is, I've just taken some of her fabric and put it together. I embellished some of the squares if you look at it closely. And this is some of her Valentine's fabric. Along with, she does a lot of like random, alphabets and backgrounds. So that is what I put together. The second one is also by the fabric is by Jay Wecker Frisch. And she's been around for a while. She's right near Hamilton. She has a shop called, I think it's Great Joy. But what I love about this is the hanger. I found this at a little...
Joe broke it. It's broken.
Oh no, it's not. It's not. It's you can see it. I think I found this for like $20 in a little gift shop on A1A next to Met's Bar. It's called Sepia. There's the broken egg is right there, and it's perfect for. It's perfect for the smaller wall quilts. But this is a design that Jay Wecker Frisch did. That who is the person that Jenny? Pardon me?
Jenny
Doan. Jenny Doan. She has a collection like this. So Wecker Frisch took her collection and actually did illustrations of her collections of irons. But if you look at each one, there is scripture in each one that she's added. And she also collects the little letters as well, the antique letter presses, and then she's added to that. Then at the bottom of all her fabric, she has these little, again, the advertising. She gets the ones that don't have a patent on them anymore. And then my favorite part of it is the ruler work, the red ruler work in between. And can you guys turn around? This is some of her backing, her 108, which is just, I just thought it went really well with that, with the pattern and with the fabric. Thank you.
So I'm Carolyn, I'm new tonight. So I just started quilting last year. I had always wanted to do like a t-shirt quilt for my daughter, and I didn't have a really good sewing machine, but I do a lot of other crafts, and so I was like, oh, it must be the user, like I can't sew. And then my husband bought me a sewing machine in December of 2023. So then in February, I started sewing, and I'm like, lo and behold, it was not the user, it was the machine. So he created a monster. I also have a 18-month-old grandbaby, so I decided to have my own block of the month club, and I'll bring that next month. But I made a quilt, a milestone quilt of my granddaughter. But then in the meantime, my uncle died last March, and so this is his. I made 4 of these. I made one for my aunt, one for each of my cousins, and this one's mine. And these were all shirts that were his. So these were technically the first quilts that I've ever completed. But even the edging is his t-shirts, but the backing I did that. I really like this fabric because I thought it went with the front. There wasn't enough of it, so I had to put a couple pieces together. But
Last month, I brought a couple of UFOs. I brought a couple of UFOs, and I had finished my body hunter, and I was needing something very simple to sew. So I got bit by the Jelly Roll rug scenario, and so I had gotten a new sewing chair for Christmas, and for my sewing room, I wanted to match it. So out went the old rug, and I started this, and it's really fun. Have really enjoyed that, just mindless sewing, making the snake and zigzagging them together, and it's washable, and you can flip it over, and it's really fun. So I like that so much. My kitchen needed some mats to match my wood floor. I never liked the ones that were available in the store, so I made a couple of mats, and then this one was added by my sink, so it's fun to do. That Jelly Roll jig by Clover makes this so easy and fun. How many have done that?
I have it.
I have. Okay, it's really fun to do.
Hey, would that be a program thing?
That might be a fun workshop or program.
It might be a sit and sew thing. I don't know if everybody would like to do it. Okay, my name is Debbie, and I have a couple of sewing problems. Number one, while I've already made 50 or 75 bags that I still own, not to count the ones I've already given away, I'm overrun with bags, but when I saw these stinking cute panels, you know I bought them. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to join the Bag Makers Anonymous program and stop doing them. These I had quilted and just needed the handles, and I carried them back and forth to Georgia for like 3 months. I put the handles on the wrong bags. I don't even care. Okay, so no more bags. I'm swearing off bags unless somebody needs one. Okay, then we have this lovely, okay, so I sew with the Foster Sew people, and when they get stuff they don't know what to do with, I don't know why, but Sue's like, Daddy. And so I took the panel and I made the potato chips. Okay, I made 2 of these because I had enough potato chips for 2. So that's that. And then this fabric I loved so much that I bought it twice. I need to put a binding on this, and I'll go to the Foster.
oh, wow.
I only made 1 of the tops. Okay. Yeah, I got that backing on clearance, $5 a yard for 108. Okay. This was $5 a yard for the backing there. Jan made the top, but then she gave me 4 extra blocks, so I sewed the extra 4 blocks to the quilt, so I didn't have enough backing. And so there you go. That'll go to Foster Kids on Thursday. Okay, then I have another problem. This one's a serious problem. People give me stuff for dog beds, and as I'm checking in there for pins and other dumb things people put into their stinking scrap bags, including the half yards of fabric I find like 300 2.5-inch squares. That's a quilt. Okay, well, in that same stupid dog bed, someone put a lot of 1.5 or 2-inch strips, and I don't know who you are, but I kind of hate you. So my friend My friend is a quilt designer, and she is now currently working for Riley Blake. God bless her. Okay, she made this in black and white. I think they have it upside down, but that's been the story of their night. So, she designed this in black and white, and it was lovely, but hello, didn't I have a dog bed full of 2.5 inch, or excuse me, 1.5 to 2 inch strips? Oh, you know, I took those damn things out of that dog bed, like I don't own fabric, and I made that. But I still had a lot more.
Yeah, give them to Sophie, she'll
So I made these 2 tops last week, because, you know, God forbid I work on what I want to work on. I got an impulse, so these stupid dog bed scraps. So I made these 2, and I'll take them home and quilt them. They'll go to the, we have a rape crisis center we do in Georgia. And there you go. Please don't give me anything usable in your dog bed scraps ever again. Because I don't do chrome quilts. So make them chromes. And I appreciate that. Okay, there you go.
This is to get, my name's Kathleen, I'm relatively new, but this is to get everyone in the mood for Sharon's talk on applique.
So that was the one that was given away tonight for the drawing. Yeah, but I don't know why it turned out shorter than what it did. That's for Easter, and I've got a new sewing machine, and I wanted to try a lot of different stitches. So that was some way to try a lot of stitches and techniques that I've never done before. So hurry points and I don't know, all kinds of the other thing I made was with a nudge from my friend and neighbor, Kathy. I just made that's the biggest quilt I've ever made, so yay me. Open the bag at the meeting. There we go. Yay!
Well, it didn't count as a UFO because it started this year, but I did finally finish the workshop.
Coral, give it to Joe. Let Joe hold it.
It was a lot of fun because I also had fabric with little fairies, and they fit in there perfectly. Oh. And then I just went to the dollar store and bought eyelashes.
Okay, we got done.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Lord, look at Joe. Okay.
A thank you to Leslie. 5 baby quilts. All done, ready to go. Even got a nice bow on. We need an organization to which that we can give these to.
We do.
We do. Okay, good. Quilt of Valor finished. No, this is a group effort. Cindy put it all together. Julie, you topped it?
My name's Debbie, but yes,
Debbie,
I
excuse
said
me,
that.
yes. I'm not going to be here next month, so I brought this, which Mindy finished over the weekend. It was my first retreat quilt. more leftover panel on the back.
Nice.
Thank you, Cindy, and all of her map sizing.
Very good.
And last but not least, another one that Mindy finished. That's the bottom. There's the top.
Oh, nice.
Temporary. And more leftover panels on the back. I hate a quilt you can't turn over. Why wash it once when you don't have to?
Is that it?
That's it. It's all yours, Linda.
Thank you. Okay, we got done early tonight. All right, I think we're going to need help to put away some tables and chairs, correct, Joe?
2 tables and 12 chairs get stored in the closet, please.
Just 2 tables?
Just 2 tables.
Oh, we have sit and sew tomorrow, so can we?
Oh.
Yes, we do. Sit and sew is tomorrow. So Kathy, how do you want to set up for sit and sew? Kathy Carlson? Kathy Carlson? Is she here? I would say just leave it then and we will, yeah.